Leston. Happy New Year to all. I wanted to kick off the show with a focus I've been practically doing for a few years now, which is really doing more artsy stuff and focusing on local artists. And as I was thinking, how do I kick off the year? And I thought about Luanne, who is a local artist. And incidentally enough, she has a show coming up on January 10th. We had to postpone the show, not we, but she had to postpone the show because we had a major storm last week. And so instead of doing her opening reception on the 4th, it's going to be this Friday, I believe, at the Kingston Gallery in the South End. So I thought I wanted to go back, check some of the interviews that I did with her. I typically do about one interview per exhibit. So if she has an exhibit per year, I'll interview her that year. If it's every 2 years, we'll do that. And so I'm excited that I'm going to be interviewing her again about her latest exhibit that's at the gallery right now, basically from the 2nd of this month until February, I believe you get to see it. So she has a great website which you can go and visit. I'm gonna show some of her own video that she kind of produce with her own artwork. So we're gonna take a look at that. Then I'm gonna show a little clip of the interview that I've done about, I think, 2 years ago. So it's great that I'm gonna be able to replenish that and show you guys some of her old artwork, not so old, and then to get you excited about what's coming up this Friday at the Kingston Gallery. So here's a short, very nature and relaxing video from Luanne Witkowski, who is an artist and exhibit at the Kingston Gallery. So we're gonna take a little break from watching that clip. So Luanne actually videotaped the scene where you can actually see this is what the image looks like of the actual artwork you could have seen at the gallery. She did this about 2009, and this is the some of the images. So if you go to her website, which is lustudio.com, you get to see the video, some of her artwork, what she has painted, print. I mean, she works with a lot of different medium, which is really great. So I'm sure there's something you'll find that you like. I like the idea that she used a lot of different mixed medium. Some of her work is very organic and natural, which is really, I find it very sort of soothing and meditative. And so that's why I love starting with, what the video that she has on the beach. And so you get to see sort of like both the visual and how she captures sort of like audio and sound and how she makes everything together. And everything that I'm showing, you could actually see at the Kingston Gallery a few years ago. So if you start in the beginning, you see most of the artwork on the wall, and as you move toward the back, the video could also be viewed in the back. So that was really fun. So the video that I did, the interview, about around the same time, I guess it was 2009, probably 2011 maybe. I may have done that. So I'm gonna show a very short clip of that, and it will look at the Kingston Gallery website, where you can see her exhibit that's currently being shown, and also who's coming up later in the year. So typically once a month, you see a different artist being featured at the gallery. So this gallery is very collaborative. It's a cooperative gallery where different artists show their work, and this is pretty much how they sustain themselves. And so I'm always excited when Luanne is showing her work. So let me show a short clip of the interview that I did a few years ago.
When these pieces exhibit what they do to me, you know. So I don't consider myself a photographer. I do consider myself an environmental installation artist, and painter, you know. My paintings in the next room, which we can look at, are made up of traditional and non-traditional materials mixed. Okay. So there I leave a lot of room for spontaneity too, because I do, when I'm in these places doing my installations, gather a part of the place. Okay. So I'll dig down and get some clay out, or like in the first piece here, I at one point found a particularly beautiful purple sand. And I just gathered a little bit of it to incorporate somehow in there, found its place. I don't plan where the materials are going to land in the pieces. I predominantly paint this way. These are a new direction where I've included the photography behind the painting a little bit, but not throughout. So you'll see there are big swaths of, you know, applied pigment and clay, but there's also, you know, a part of it, I just decided that, you know, I'd lay some of that in the background because the imagery was powerful for me this time. It's the first time I've ever brought the photography into the studio. These paintings here are my more traditional approach. I shouldn't say that word. These are my more dominant approach, using traditional and non-traditional materials. Again, there's clay from the place, worked in alongside pigment, and I've used layers of epoxy resin, and that's what pulls up and causes the submersion and suspension of color and image in the pieces. I like the idea of being able to include a part of the place in the piece that's recalling an experience in a place. So I know that sounds a lot of layered talk, but you can see I work in layers, and so that's how my work speaks. Again, I'm process driven. I can spend days just, you know, mixing the colors and deciding, you know, which format I'm going to use. Will it be a square? Will it be a horizontal? Will it be a canvas? Will it be a panel? You know, I lay out several at the same time so that I can be as spontaneous as I need to be. The interesting part about the spontaneity of my work is that once I get to the part where I'm actually applying and making a series, I have to really consider the chemical properties of the epoxy resin and making it stick to itself and to the materials and working within time constraints. So I do have some limits in what I do, and I do have a lot of intuitive time. So I've developed a really interesting process for myself. You know, I invite you to come look at the paintings closely and do be able to look between and see where the layers line up. One of the things that the epoxy resin really gives to my work is the ability for light to pass through it. Again, I'm really interested in light and reflection in nature, so it's really nice to be able to put some nature in it, but then let the light pass through the epoxy and bounce back out again. Like when light hits light, colors, it bounces back at you. When the lighting comes down here, it lights from inside the layers. And so there's a nice way that light can naturally pass through the work as well as around it and on it. So
That's great. And we're back to the deep blue.
that's, yes, I see you dressed to match it.
What's in the picture there later? But I think it's, I mean, as with the work, I mean, there's so much, all it's process driven. There's a little bit of anthropologist in me, even though there are no other people or no natives. I mean, the environment is the native, technically.
Right.
But I think the way you approach it, it's almost like literally you there, you're sort of embedded in what's going on to really sort of capture everything. And it's really, I mean, you know, you can call it however you like, but I think you have to be there. Like, I think you just have to sort of let it come to you in a way and not make any assumptions or kind of like no expectations. So whatever comes,
Right.
this is what you're going to be working with.
Yes, and you know, not every piece is as successful as I'd like it to be. These are the successful ones, you know. I work on many pieces at the same time, letting, you know, things happen in them. It's not like I just don't have any idea what they will be. Like, I know once I've mixed all my colors and materials and prepared everything, what I'm going to be working with and how, what will be incorporated and what won't be this time around, you know. How do I feel today in terms of my recollection, and what of those natural experiences is coming to the surface for me? That kind of stuff I become very aware of, and it, you know, and that isn't so dictated to me as I do make those decisions. And then I let the materials respond and react to how I'm applying them. Yeah, and I allow for them to, you know, take on a little life of their own because of what they are and, you know, being natural living materials.
Yeah, so true. So what have you heard from visitors or from people who love your art this time around?
People have been extremely responsive. They've been really happy to see the photography and very interested to learn that I just consider it my sketchbook. So they're like, wow, that's your sketchbook, you know. But then it makes sense when they look at the paintings and they say, oh, of course, you know, that's what you're painting about, you know. So that makes sense. And then the colors, because I've gotten a little bolder in this particular group of work than I had in the past group of work. And so people have come in and, you know, just been really receptive to the blues.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice contrast, and usually, I think there was some vibrancy. I think there was one piece, even from the last exhibit, that was like a little surprise, because I wasn't expecting it as you're looking at sort of the calmer hues you were using, and then there was one that just popped. So now I think there's more pop, and then it's sort of up and down. It's almost like you, in 1 second, it's like, oh, this is really bright, and then it just comes down again. And these are definitely deeper than you in terms of your work.
There's certainly new palette introductions happening here. Yeah.
So what do you call these two pieces?
Oh,
Let me see mine.
these are diptych and finding and balance.
Ooh.
And together it's finding balance, you know, but separately I believe they stand alone very confidently.
Yeah.
But together I think they make a bold statement as well.
Yeah, and I think they're independent, but at the same time, I think they're so complementary. There's no deep sort of competing.
Yeah, they were made obviously at the same time, but I hadn't really gone into making them as a diptych. I was working simultaneously on them and realized that they were speaking to each other as I was working on them. I worked on something else alongside them that was completely different, but those two began to work together with me. And so I knew that eventually they may turn into a diptych, and so, you know, I allowed them to be, although they weren't intended that way, and that's why I gave them names that can go together or separately.
So there you go. That was the interview was much longer than actually what's online right now. So again, I'm excited to go back and see what the new exhibit looks like, what she's been working on. Every year is very different, so it's kind of nice to see how to follow one particular artist and see how they're evolving, how every year or every time they have an exhibit, what kind of theme, for example, that they've been exploring. And it's always a surprise. I never know what to expect. Sometimes you still see the same you get the same vibe from the art piece, and other time it's completely different, which is a reflection of her process and what she's been working on or doing. So this is the website for the Kingston Gallery, where they're promoting the current exhibitions that they have. So the first Friday was supposed to be when the exhibit was supposed to happen, and again it was postponed, so you have a chance to go see it on January 10th. You can meet Luanne, see the art piece face to face, and really sort of get to know her artwork, get to know her, and also support the gallery. It's a very small collective gallery. I just love the feeling that it's a group of artists supporting one another, promoting their work, and really it's open to the public to come whenever during the open hours. So if you go to the website, you get to know what's coming up. But for the month of January until February 2nd, Luanne will be the one being featured. So hopefully this Friday I'll get to attend and see her again, and then I'll be more than happy to show you our conversation about her current exhibit. So for more information, go to kingstongallery.com. These are the hours of the gallery. You can go on Wednesdays through Sunday from 12 to 5 p.m. Or you can call and make an appointment if you want a different day. So typically, someone volunteered to be at the front desk, and so you get to explore what's currently on exhibit and what's coming up. This is Luanne's website, Lou's Studio, Lew studio.com, where again you get to see her artwork. You can learn a little more about her background, what she's working on. You get her bio, and there are also other let's see, if you want to learn more about what she uses. I know she does a lot of workshops and just different activities in the community. So if you're interested in learning more, and especially she uses a lot of, like I mentioned, a lot of great organic and natural materials, and how to use these type of textures and supplies that she used to produce her artwork. But definitely visit the website. You can get more details in terms of what's to come. The year has just started, so once the exhibit is in full swing, feel free to reach her. She has studio right in Boston, in the South End. So you can contact her that way. Go to the website. You can email her. She's also on Facebook, and which is how I find out about the show coming up and the exhibit. So these are the mix work that she has. These are from 08, 09. So these are the work actually I think I featured on that interview. And these are some newer work. And again, she mentioned during the interview she's doing a little more photography. So I don't know what she's been working on in terms of 2013, 2014. But all these are really great. I mean, I just love the different colors that she used. So depending on your interest and style, I'm sure there is something you'll find on the page. These are some of the drawings, and she's gonna be adding more. It's usually so many different changes, but at least you get a taste. And these are the more sort of I call these that are more sort of naturalistic. She's at the beach, very similar to the video that I opened the show with. You hear the water. I mean, I can see how she get inspired to create her artwork. And so you can always come back to get more. I kind of like this piece, the print that she has there. The video, I'll probably show that again toward the end of the program. So these are some of the smaller pieces. So these come in different sizes. And again, go to the website for more information. The Kingston Gallery, you can see who's being featured. She's in January through the 2nd. Then in February, there'll be a new artist being featured, and you can see who's coming up right after. So once you make it to the gallery, you can get tons of information about who's going to be featured in 2014. So I definitely invite everyone to go. It's a great day, Friday night. Go to the gallery, the Kingston Gallery. They are located at 450 Harrison Avenue in the South End. The reception is always fun. You get to meet new people. You meet the artists, of course. You meet the others who are supporting the different artists that are going to be featured that year. So I think it's just a great opportunity for a night out that's very relaxing. And you never know, you may find something that you like, bring friends over. So these are really fun. So if you've never been before, I really encourage you to. It's a great way to start the year with something very fun, artistic, and it's always a great crowd. And of course, I'll go. I plan to go, and then I hope to have a one-on-one with Luanne, and I will share that with all of our viewers. Again, our program is typically every Monday, 4:30, live in Cambridge. And if you haven't missed any of our segments, you can go online on YouTube. You can also go on the cctvcambridge.org website so you can see some of the segment you may have missed. So 2014 is still brand new. We're going to have a lot of fun guests on the show, a lot of new topics I didn't have a chance to explore in 2013. So 2014 is wide open. It's a blank canvas, if I take a page from Luanne. And we'll be bringing you more nonprofit organization in the greater Boston area, more artists, more interactive interviews, and so there's so much more to come for the rest of the year. If you have any ideas, you can always contact me at CCTV or online. If you know people who should be on the show, or people you want to come back on the show that were featured as guests, definitely let us know. So I'm gonna close with Luanne's video that's on our website. And again, if you want more information about the exhibit, you can go to the kingstongallery.com. Her website is www.lewstudio, which is lewstudio.com. And definitely take the time to explore the website, but you are invited to attend the reception that will be taking place on Friday, January 10th at 5:30 p.m. So again, Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for watching the show. And I'm going to close with Luanne's images, which is in the form of a video as well. So you get to enjoy really the beautiful nature sound instead of the winter rainy day that we have today. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Monday.